Time has no meaning in this place. But that does nothing to lessen the certainty that Tyler has been in this line for years. A steady stream of sweat flows down his neck, staining his rough-weaved jumpsuit and sticking the itchy material to the skin of his back. The heat of this place is intense, but more than that, it is the apprehension, the waiting, the inching step by step towards his own consumption. He wants to turn and run, to push past the endless row of desperate, weeping people and flee this place. But where would he go? There is nowhere else. Only the processing plant, and he's heard the stories of what happens if you don't get processed through the official channels. It's messy, and more than that, they just throw the remains away. Nothing is used, and deep down Tyler knows that's what he's for. He's there to be useful, and the thought of running from that scares him as much as whatever is waiting for him at the end of the line. Another person processed, another step forward on the snaking line of bodies. Tyler tries for a moment to remember how he got here, where he was before this room of noise and heat and patient waiting figures. It's faded now. He remembers aches and worries and sometimes something that might have been joy. But it's far away now, like something seen projected on a distant wall. Another step forward and he's standing at a desk. The person, is that a person? Behind it wears a loose hood of coarse black leather. Below it they wear a featureless mask of the same material without a gap for eyes or mouth or even the shape of a nose. They wordlessly slide a form across to Tyler. His eyes travel down it. Name, age, ethnicity, blood type, eye color, body mass index. The list stretches on and on and on, and he can feel the stares of the thousands behind him burrowing into the back of his skull. He looks around, unable to find a pen, a pencil, anything. The thing sat behind the desk does not respond to his questions. Finally, Tyler takes his fingernail, now long and ragged from his time in the queue, and painstakingly scores the words into the paper. When one nail breaks, he uses another, until finally the information is carved into the thick white form. The thing behind the desk nods, just once, and points him to another line as long or longer than the first. Tyler feels his stomach drop as he walks slowly over to join it. This gradual procession of the doomed leads not to a desk, but to a small room partitioned off from the wider floor of the facility. What happens within it is not clear, but the looks of apprehension and despair on the faces around him are even more pronounced than they were before. Once again, Tyler considers briefly trying to run, but there's nothing for it. Whatever the management has prepared for him at the end is what's coming for him. All he can do is wait for the axe to drop. And wait he does, as the minutes turn into hours, turn into days, turn into years, which mean nothing in the thick torpor of congealed time. Once or twice, Tyler tries to engage those in front or behind him in conversation, but gets only panicked weeping in response. He is silent, his only companion the heavy dread that is gradually expanding through his gut. Another step and he is at the door to the small room. It is riveted iron, not rusty, but clean and polished to a sterile shine. The only smell is the smell of cleaning products. The door finally opens, and another thing stands there. It is dressed like the one behind the desk, but stood to its full height, it towers over Tyler in its leather apron. It grips him firmly by the shoulder, in hands with the weight and texture of granite, and leads him into the room of clean and burnished metal. He tries not to stare at the implements that hang on the wall as he is placed on a wide metal plate in the center. He feels it yield slightly under his feet, and a weight appears on a screen set back into the wall. One of the things adjusting the equipment seems to become aware of this, though how it could have seen the measurement Tyler does not know, and it snatches the forms he still carries from his hand. The noises that come from behind the mask seem to indicate the weight does not match what he has put down on his paperwork, and despite everything, Tyler is suddenly gripped with a panic that he might somehow be in trouble. The disruption passes quickly, and the things move on to other tests, poking, lifting, stretching his limbs and assessing them with strange metal tools. Even if he had the will to, Tyler could not have struggled. The movements of the things scrutinizing him are as gently unstoppable as a piston. Finally, he is led over to a grate on the floor. He barely even has time to register the red-hot wire cutter before it is in and out of his left arm with practiced professional ease, neatly removing a small wedge of muscle. There is almost a full second of numb confusion before the pain finally hits, and Tyler begins to scream. The figures surrounding him do not seem to notice, instead fussing over the sample they have taken, examining it in minute detail and silently conferring about it. Then they all nod at once, and the tiny chunk of meat is tossed away down a nearby disposal. One of them moves to the wall and picks up a long metal rod connected to an intricate arrangement of looping metal. Tyler is so preoccupied with the pain in his arm, he doesn't notice the switch turn on or the metal begin to glow red with heat. When the brand hits him in the small of his back, he has no idea what is happening. The sensation is so overwhelming that it's only after they push him out down a long metal chute and he finds himself at the back of another queue, he realizes what has happened. As he sees the stamp of this place scorched into every back that stretches off into the distance. This is the last processing line. Tyler can feel that truth deep inside himself. There is no longer the wide open space surrounding them. Instead, the head-height dividers lock them into single file, snaking back and forth in a zigzag as their path approaches the shining metal gate at the end. The ground is angled ever so slightly down, making it uncomfortable to stand still and always gently urging them to move forward. At last, the prospect of seeing what might happen if he runs from the line seems worth it to Tyler, but the realization sets in that it is far, far too late for that. One step, then another, then another. The production balance of this place means it must be impossible for this line to be moving quicker than the ones before it, but it seems to press on with a determination that makes Tyler feel faint. The interminable dread of the wait has dissipated into a very present panic of reaching the end of this line, but with every scream it seems to accelerate, and all too soon he is through the gate. In the room before the killing floor, there are three things: a mirror, a diagram, and a thick black permanent marker. Tyler stares at himself, 100 thoughts running through his head as he waits his turn on the floor. He could refuse. A final petty act of rebellion against a system it feels like he's run through 100 times. But what would be the point of that? It won't save him. A wasted pile of discarded tissue is all that would be left. Is it not better, at least, to be useful? Tyler picks up the pen and begins marking the cuts of meat upon his body. When he is done, he walks through the door. The bolt goes through the back of his neck with a crack, and Tyler feels himself fall, paralyzed to the floor. It does not kill him, though, and he watches as his limp body is hoisted onto the butcher's frame. They take their time as they disassemble him, making sure to let him see exactly what is about to happen at each step of the way. The last thing he sees before returning to the processing line is everything going into the garbage. There wasn't a single suitable cut. Useless, one of the butchers says, and Tyler is gone.